Hi guys, hey there, welcome to my live in the Craft the Halls event. If you're new here, I'm Marilyn, and Patrice, thank you for the lead in. Thanks for introducing everybody. I'd love to say hi to everyone in the chat. You know, I have 30 minutes, technically 35, but I'm going to try to be done in 30 minutes, and then I'll see if there's any questions. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, originally I was going to do just sublimation ornaments, and I changed my mind. I decided to add non-sublimation ornaments to it as well, because not everybody has a sublimation printer. You know, everybody's not into that. So I think we'll start though with the sublimation ornaments. Also, Unbiased, Rachel of Unbiased LLC, she's on after me. I did pin her link to the top of my chat. And then toward the end of the live, when we're getting ready to be off, somebody will put the link in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and get started. But thank you guys for being here. I truly am honored to be part of this and to have everybody in just watching the lives. Thank you yesterday. There were so many people there. All right, let's get started. So I have several different ornament blanks, sublimation ornament blanks. How do we get the Craft the Halls design? So Patrice might put something in the chat about that because she's the one that made this. And I'm going to try to watch the chat, but, you know, we don't have a lot of time. So the first thing that I'm going to make is a two-sided, it's a coated MDF sublimation blank. And I have a lot of things linked in the video description if you're interested. Now, these do come, I took most of it off for the sake of time. These come with this clear film covering both sides because both sides can be sublimated on. So you want to make sure that you take that off. And then for this sublimation blank, I'm going to do my sister's cat. Oh, let me add my overhead. Let's add the overhead. So I have some heat resistant tape. Okay, thanks, Patrice. And I always like to tape mine down because you don't want it to shift. If your paper shifts while you're pressing your machine down or lifting the machine up, you're going to get a blurry effect because it's gonna move a little bit. So you can see right here that I have the cat, and at the end of the live, hopefully I have time to show you how I make the designs the size I want. Now, sometimes you can do these two sides at once. I'm going to do one like that later. For this first one, I'm just going to do it one side. So I have my heat press set at 360 degrees for 70 seconds. I don't know that that's what the instructions were, but I did a lot of tests yesterday. And I found that on this type of blank, that worked excellent. When you do this, notice I like my design to be slightly larger than the blank. Otherwise, you risk having that little white ring around the edge or on part of it, and I can't stand that. So I make my design just a little bit larger than the blank. Because it is larger, you're going to have some of that ink transfer to whatever's below it. So you definitely want to have some paper below it when you do this. There we go. So we're going to do that. And then I'm just using printer paper because my butcher paper's in the other room. When I do this, I'm just using this, look at the stuff on the table. I'm using this tiny little press just so that we can do it right here. I think it's going to be more quick to do it that way. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So this is just a tiny little craft press, and it's handy for things like this. So remember, we have two pieces of paper under it. Now this craft press is a little dusty, so if you notice that, just pretend like you don't. We're going to have it paper side up. Also, when I did my design, I mirrored it. So when you're doing sublimation, we're going to have an exception in a little bit. But when you do sublimation, typically you mirror your design. Then I want the paper side up. I want this to be in the middle as much as possible because I think it's going to get more even pressure that way. And sometimes I'll even rotate the pad of the heat press halfway through. So let's go ahead and start this. What I like to do is kind of look from the sides and make sure that it looks like it's giving it even pressure. I don't have my heat glove right here. Sometimes, if I notice that the front is slightly up, I'll take with my heat gloves on and I'll just push down like that. I think this looks pretty good. So we're going to go with that. I may go ahead and rotate. Let's just see how it does without it. Okay. I always had the uneven white ring. I self-taught myself and was grateful I had guidance later. Yes, and I like to cut my design, or I like to print my design in the shape of the ornament. That way, if I know that I centered what I want on the printout in the center of the blank. Because if you don't do that, then yeah, as long as you cover what you want on that blank, it's going to be on there. But I want to manipulate exactly where it is, if that makes sense. Okay, let me grab my glove. Let me grab my gloves. I was up here yesterday doing all this, and I'm surprised my gloves aren't sitting right here. But they're not. All right, we're going to wear mismatched gloves. At least it's 2 shades of pinkish purple. Okay. So the other thing is when you have enough time to let it cool down, it's a good idea to let it cool down. So I'm going to move this off and we're going to sublimate something else. There's paper stuck to that. Okay. So that first one was on coated MDF, and I have a link to coated MDF in the chat. Now this next one, this is metal. This is an aluminum with a sublimation coating on it. And for this one, I have my great-nephew, one of my great-nephews, meeting their new foal. Looks like he got home from school or preschool or wherever he was and met it as soon as he got there. Now, I'm going to cut this down a little bit more closely to it so that my tape will be closer to the design. Because if your tape is closer to your design, it's probably going to hold it just a little bit more securely. And when you do these two-sided, you're not taping to your blank. When you're doing one side at a time, you're taping it to your blank. Now this one, oh, so cute, Tessa. This one could have been done both sides at once, or you can do it later. Now I'm going to come up here because this camera is so much better. I've done these both sides at one time. I've done them individually. And when I did the 2 sides individually, this did not fade at all. I was afraid it would, and it didn't. So that is so cute. I'm going to allow myself 15 minutes for sublimation, then we're moving on to non-sublimation. Okay, now, let's see. So, sorry you didn't have a very good view. Yes, it's a beautiful cat. Thank you, Vera. Yes, she says, please like and subscribe. And she says, thank you. Okay, so here is my metal blank. It's aluminum coated with a sublimation coating. And I did not make any of these blanks. If you have a laser that will cut, it's called Unisub, I believe. And it is a sublimated coated board. And hold on, I can't think and do this at the same time. Okay, I'm going to cut all that white off so that I can see on this side exactly where it needs to be, because I can't pick it up and look at the back of it because I already have that other side on there. Hopefully I don't cut off too much. But if you have a laser, You can buy this product. It might be called Unisub board. I have some. And you can cut your designs any shape you want. Okay. So it looks like everything is covered. I'm going to tape these together. And I have a little bit more paper exposed down here. So that's going to hold that tape in place. You're still going to have to be careful with this because there's no part of the paper that is actually taped to the metal. Because if you did, you couldn't do both sides at once. Thank you so much for everybody coming into the live. Yesterday's lives were amazing. Everybody did so well. Let's tape this down. And I am so happy that Patrice brought up doing this event in one of her Zooms. I think it's been a great success so far. I think today's going to be just as much of a success. All right. So once again, I could get away easily with just having one piece of paper under this because each side has a white coating on back. I've been playing with paint. We're going to put that in the middle. Then, even though this HTV Ronc paper typically does not bleed through the back, there was one day I was surprised that some of it did. So I always just put another piece of paper on the back. That protects the underside of my heat press. Because if you get sublimation ink on there, it's going to transfer to your next project. Or it's going to transfer to the paper covering and protecting your next project. All right, let's get that going. And while that's going, let's just grab another blank. Let's see, I only have a few more minutes for the sublimation ones. Now, this is a blank that I saw Patrice use years ago. And let me get this camera down here. It's these little Christmas ornaments. It has two sides. I got two of the same side. It has two sides that just snap together like that. And then this sublimation blank is going to sit inside. So now I have another one of my nieces, another one of my great nieces. Thank you. Thanks. I think it's, yeah, Lashonda, thank you very much. Okay, so that I don't have to take a ton of time and tape it at the same time like I did the last one, I'm going to go ahead and do one side. Guys, this 30 minutes goes fast. Fast, fast, fast. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. If you didn't catch the lives yesterday, go back and watch them. They are so good. Okay. Also, you can see this looks a little faint. That's how sublimation ink prints. So don't be alarmed if you start sublimation and your colors don't look right. In fact, when I first started, I made a gift for one of my friends to give to her son when her son and her son's wife had a baby. And it was a little terry cloth type washcloth. It was all polyester, which you're going to get your best results when it's all polyester. And I printed something that was supposed to be turquoise. And when it came out of the printer, it really looked much more bluish purple than turquoise. Okay, this one I have a little bit of ink exposed. So I have two pieces of paper under it, or a double piece of paper under it. Anyway, it looked bluish purple. I went ahead and pressed it and it turned turquoise. So don't be nervous if the print looks really weird when it comes out of your sublimation printer. Okay, let's start that going. This I can handle. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. The colors are so vibrant. on sublimation. Look at that. I'll take it to the front as well. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Welcome in everyone that's come in the last few minutes. There we go. Meeting the new baby. I don't know if it, I mean, it could have been a few days old by now. I have no idea. I didn't ask the story behind it. But anyway, that's one of my great nephews. And then this has 4 more seconds. I often like to just take the mat out because I don't like to shift that very much while it's still real hot. Okay. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it over. We're going to do the other side, and then we're going to move on to the non-sublimation blanks. The things that you don't have to have a sublimation printer for. Also, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Also, if you want to do sublimation ornaments and you don't have a sublimation printer, you could get a few sublimation pens, markers, have your kids, your grandkids draw things with those sublimation markers, and you could do it that way. Like if you want to feature some of their artwork and you don't have a sublimation printer, have them use sublimation markers, and I still would probably use sublimation paper. Sublimation paper's coated. Okay, so here's that one right there. Such a cute picture. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the other side just to show you that it's perfectly fine to do these. And gosh, yesterday did I tape it back? We're going to put a little tape on it, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just hold it in place. Okay. We have it all covered. Let's go ahead and look at that. And let's get that one going. Okay, there it is right there. Sorry. Okay, now I did also, so I've done metal and I've done MDF coated. I also yesterday played around with some ceramic ornaments and I got very inconsistent results. Very inconsistent results. So I'm going to show you the best one first. And I got these results, the difference, even using the same settings. So that one turned out pretty nicely. Now what I really should do is try to use that phone case heat press and do it on the sides. I mean, to get the sides. That one turned out pretty nice. But then, let's see. Here's another one. Oh. All right, we're done with you. Okay. This one also turned out nice. But then, look, it's missing some color in the middle. Now these got excellent reviews on Amazon. This one's okay, but it does not have the detail that some of the other ones do. I also sublimated on this wood. I don't like that as much. I like a crisp white background, but let me see if I can't find. Here we go. Okay. So let's compare. Nope. Nope, I don't have it. Okay. I was going to compare. The sublimation ceramic ones to me just, oh, I got some white on it, just did not have crisp results. So I did not link them. I got excellent results, or excellent reviews, but there it is. Here's the side that I got the white on. I was in such a hurry. But we're going to place this inside. Same supplies, same paper, same printer settings, same everything. Now I take that back. After I got frustrated, I stopped using my HTV romp press and I came over here and used this press and still got bad results. And this one has excellent pressure. So I can't say why it did that, but it did. Okay, I can't get this string through here. And on my limited time, I don't have time to deal with it. Okay, so here's what it looks like. These are really, really cute. Now they're small. They're small. The image is like 2 inches. But look at that. And so it's two-sided. I love those. Super cute. Okay, so that is how you can make sublimation ornaments. Let's talk about how you can make similar photo ornaments that are not sublimation. Because again, not everybody has or wants a sublimation printer. You can get this off the table. And this time I won't be moving it around, so we're just going to point that downward. Now, did I miss any questions? Which press is that? It's a Vevor 9x12, 10x12, 9x13. I would not buy one if I already have a press that I love, because you know you're spending $100 and some. I received that one a few years ago. They don't even make that exact one anymore, but Vevor does still have small presses. Okay, so Patrice, I'm fast. I'm having to rush, but it's all good. Keep it moving. Here is something that I did several years ago. So this little baby is the same baby that's in this ornament. And so I did this years ago. One thing that you could do, and I couldn't do it for today because you have to use a toner print or a toner printer, a laser, not an inkjet, but a toner printer. So I used to have a black and white one here at home, and so I used that. I made this. You use this Mod Podge photo transfer medium. You paint it onto the photo, the front of the photo. Okay. I painted it on the front of the photo. You had to mirror your design. Then you put it down, and then you use something like a brayer to adhere it down. And I love using a brayer when you're doing projects like this, because if you use your fingers, to try to flatten it out, you often get those rips. So that is one process that you could use. You have to let it dry for 24 hours. So put it on the front of your photo, flip your photo over, put it on your wood, let it dry 24 hours, and then the next day you use water to get the top off. This was the best outcome for me with the Mod Podge transfers. I've done them also with regular Mod Podge, but I often found that some of the picture was coming off when I would rub it. Okay, so that's one way. How long do I have? 7 more minutes plus 5. We're doing fine. Okay, so here's another one that I did today, this morning, and we're going to do one in a minute. It's on a piece of wood, and I wrote on the back. This was printed on regular paper. I sealed the back of the paper with this Mod Podge spray because it's regular paper. It's not coated or anything. Then I glued it down with just Mod Podge. After it dried, it didn't take very long. After it dried enough, I sprayed sealer on the top again so that the ink wouldn't run. And then I went one step further and I added some of this Maker's Magic to it. So let's go ahead and do one of these. I have 2 types of Maker's Magic. I have the matte version and the glossy version. I've heard people rant and rave about this. I don't think it does a ton better than just regular Mod Podge, which I used to use to seal things, but people tend to love it. The one thing I really did like about it is it's liquid, whereas the Mod Podge, you know, you have to give a little more force, and I think there's less brush strokes. There's definitely less brush strokes. Okay, so let's just go through the process. I have my Mod Podge. I already sprayed the front and the back of these to make it a quicker process. Here's one that I put together that I haven't put the Maker's Magic on yet. Okay, so I know I have brushes. I made sure I had everything I needed in here. Everything. Where are you, little brushes? There you are. Okay. So you could either put the Mod Podge on the wood or the paper. Let's put it on the wood. Earlier I was putting it on the paper, but when you do that, it gets on, you know, what you're working on a little bit because you're brushing it off the sides. This is a little taller. Maybe it won't do that. Hey, Arlene. Okay, so I'm just going to put a nice little coat on here, making sure that I get the entire surface and I don't skimp on it. The more you put on, the longer it'll take to dry, the more uneven it might look. But we're just going to Mod Podge this. Now, the first one I showed you earlier, I printed that on a regular printer. The rest of these I printed on, I printed them on regular paper. The rest of these I printed on sublimation paper. The reason I did that is sublimation paper has a really nice coating on it. And I felt like I might get better printing results. I feel something under there, but we're going to go for it. And so that's why I used sublimation paper. Even though I used a regular printer, I just put my sublimation paper in my regular printer. And notice with this brayer, you're not pulling it, you're not getting those little rips, you're not distressing the paper. You're really, really getting it flat. That looks, look how flat that is. Oh, I'll show you in front a little bit. Okay, so remember I told you this one's already been sprayed. The reason I spray it is to hold that ink in while I'm doing the next step. So the next step, let's do glossy. The next step is to use this Maker's Magic. Okay, oh, get out of there. Okay, let me flip this over because I use this. I just have the metal flipped back down. Now, I should have on some protective wear for this because this has a much more pungent smell than Mod Podge. It says to use gloves and eye protection. And when I'm doing, hold on just a minute. When I am doing etching cream, I always wear glasses because the first time that I did it, and I say that, get off my fingers. The first time I did it, and I tell this in my videos, I had a little bit of it flick up and hit me super duper close to my eye, and it scared me. So after, because that's etching glass, so it's going to etch my eyeball, I assume. So after that, I started always wearing eye protection when I do etching. Again, this has a more pungent smell than Mod Podge, but look how easy it goes on. It glides on, and you don't have to worry about stretching your paper, ripping your paper, anything like that. But you can use Mod Podge too. The other thing is, this takes longer to dry than Mod Podge does. So we're going to do another one with the matte coat, which I don't even think I've opened the matte coat yet. And let me make myself big while I do this, because Unbiased is going on in 5 minutes. And I'm not about to take any of her time. That's what I loved yesterday. Everybody respected each other's times. And for the most part, I think everybody got their stuff done in the 35 minutes. Do you guys like, I think I shook that. Do you guys like the 30 minutes? The 35 minutes? I thought they moved along so quickly that like you don't get bored. Okay, so here's one that I did the same way. I put Mod Podge on it, I brayered it down, and now it's just ready for this. Hey, Kingsbury Crafts, I am so sorry that I could not say hello to everyone. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses. It was a very smooth transition yesterday. Okay, this is the matte one. I like using a top coat that's going to bring out the colors even more. And so you could just spray it with a sealant like this Mod Podge that I sprayed it with, but you're not going to get as much oomph from your colors with that. Okay, so I'll let that dry. Here is what it looks like once it dries. Now this is the glossy. There's the glossy. This one was the one, see, I see some little bubbles and stuff. This is the one that was just regular copy paper, regular general use printer paper. The colors were good in it too. I think straight out of the printer, it looks better on sublimation paper. Once I added this top coat, I thought it looked really good. So if you want to try this and you don't have sublimation paper, that's okay. This is the other glossy one, and it's not dry yet. This stuff takes quite a long time to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back flat. I'll post these on my Facebook group page. The last thing I wanted to show you is a clear glass one that I did. Let's see, she starts in 3 minutes, so I have like 2 minutes. Okay, let me show you. Here's what I wanted to show you. Got 2 more things to show you. Here is the picture on ceramic. It's cute. But here is the picture on the MDF sublimation coated ornaments. I just think that looks so much better. So even though, and there's this on the back when I was playing around, even though the ceramic is a nice material, I think they sublimate better on the other things, the metal and the MDF. This is a clear or frosted glass, other than the fact that it's frosty, so it doesn't pop. This one did excellent. This is the same brand as the ceramic ones, but it has a very flat bottom. And you put that picture on from the bottom, so that was the exception. You don't mirror that. Okay, I think it's time for me to leave. I am so happy and thrilled to have been part of this. Thank you, Patrice. Thank you to all the participants, and especially thank you to everyone that's been in the live. So many people yesterday were in every live, and I loved it. I loved it. I love this community, and I love that we all support each other. It's a no drama place in all these channels. Hopefully, hopefully. All right, I will see you guys later. Can someone drop Unbiased's link one more time? And I'm going to watch for questions because maybe have 30 seconds. If Unbiased's link doesn't get dropped, it is pinned in the top of my chat. There it is. Patrice put it in there. Thank you. I will see you right over at Rachel's channel. So let's go cheer her on too. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you later. If you're a member of my channel, Monday is the giveaway live. Check your post. Check the post that I put up. Monday at 5:30 Central Time. Okay, bye. I gotta push a choice.